This $75 system, built from copper pipe, flat black paint, a sheet of polycarbonate glazing, and a salvaged water tank, can heat 60 to 80 gallons of 140-degree water every day without a pump, a controller, or a single watt of electricity. It is called a thermosiphon solar water heater, and it runs on a principle of physics so simple that it was understood in the 1700s, where hot water naturally rises above cold water and gravity does the rest. In 1941, over 60,000 of these systems were installed across Florida, and more than half the homes in Miami heated their water with the sun. But the technology was deliberately buried after World War II, and almost no American household uses one today. By the end of this video, you can build a working thermosiphon water heater yourself from hardware store materials for under $75 in a single weekend, with no plumbing license and no electrical work. You'll know why a gas or electric water heater that costs you $400 to $600 a year to operate is the most wasteful way to make hot water when the sun does it for free. You'll know the 4 components you need, what each one costs, how to connect them, and how the system circulates water automatically using nothing but heat and gravity. And then, I'm going to show you why the $27 billion American water heating industry and the electric utilities that feed it made absolutely sure this technology disappeared from your hardware store, your building code, and your memory. But first, you need to see what your current water heater is actually costing you. Because once you understand the math, you're going to wonder why you've been paying for hot water your entire life, when the sun was doing it for free 100 years ago. Here is the problem with every conventional water heater in America today. A standard 50-gallon electric resistance water heater costs about $500, uses between 4,000 and 5,000 watts of electricity, and runs an average of 3 hours per day, which adds roughly $400 to $500 per year to your electric bill. A gas water heater costs slightly less to operate, at roughly $300 to $400 per year, but it burns natural gas through a pilot light that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you need hot water or not. Both types last 10 to 15 years before the tank corrodes and the heating element fails, and then you replace the entire unit and start the cycle again. The Department of Energy reports that water heating accounts for roughly 18 to 20% of the average American household's energy bill, which makes it the second largest energy expense after heating and cooling. Over a 20-year period, a typical household spends $8,000 to $10,000 just heating water, and that is not counting the cost of replacing the heater itself every decade. The thermosiphon solar water heater eliminates that entire cost by using a principle of physics that requires zero energy input. A thermosiphon works because water expands and becomes lighter as it heats up, and contracts and becomes heavier as it cools down. When sunlight hits a dark painted collector panel, the water inside the panel's copper or CPVC tubes absorbs that heat and becomes less dense than the cooler water sitting in the storage tank above it. The lighter hot water naturally rises through the outlet pipe at the top of the collector into the storage tank, while the heavier cool water at the bottom of the tank flows down through the inlet pipe back into the collector to be heated again. This creates a continuous, gravity-driven loop where water circulates automatically between the collector and the tank as long as the sun is shining. With no pump, no thermostat, no controller, and no electricity. The principle is called natural convection, and it was first described by scientists in the 1700s, studying how heated fluids move in closed systems. A well-built thermosiphon collector with a 4x8-foot panel can heat 60 to 80 gallons of water to between 120 and 160 degrees Fahrenheit on a clear day in moderate climates, which is more than enough for a typical household's daily hot water needs. The system has 0 moving parts, which means there is nothing to break, nothing to replace, and nothing to maintain beyond occasionally checking the collector glazing for damage. A system originally installed in Phoenix, Arizona in 1917 was reactivated around 1980 and returned to full service after 63 years of sitting on a roof. If you're thinking this sounds too good to be true, the proof is sitting on rooftops across 3 continents right now, starting in the country that made it law. In 1953, an Israeli engineer named Levi Yissar built the first prototype Israeli solar water heater and founded Neriah Company to manufacture them commercially in response to a national fuel shortage that had forced the government to restrict when citizens could heat water. By 1967, about 5% of Israeli households were using solar water heaters, but cheap oil from Iran made electricity affordable again, and demand dropped. Then, the 1973 oil crisis hit, and an Israeli physicist named Harry Zvi Tabor developed the modern thermosiphon solar water heater prototype that became the standard for the entire country. In 1980, the Israeli Knesset passed a law requiring the installation of solar water heaters in all new residential buildings up to 9 stories tall. Today, over 85% of Israeli households use solar thermosiphon systems, and there are over 1.3 million units installed across the country, saving an estimated 2 million barrels of oil per year. Australia has deployed over 1 million thermosiphon solar water heaters, and Spain became the second country after Israel to mandate solar water heating in new construction in 2005. Meanwhile, in the United States, where the technology was invented, the residential solar water heater has almost completely vanished. In 1891, a Baltimore manufacturer named Clarence Kemp patented the Climax solar water heater, which was the first commercial solar water heating system ever sold. By 1897, a third of all homes in Pasadena, California, were heating their water with the sun using Kemp's design. In 1909, William J. Bailey of the Carnegie Steel Company patented the day and night solar water heater, which was the first system to separate the collector from the storage tank using the thermosiphon principle to circulate water automatically between the two. Bailey sold over 4,000 units between 1909 and 1918, and the technology spread rapidly through California, Arizona, Hawaii, and Florida. By 1941, over 60,000 solar water heaters were installed across Florida, and over half the population of Miami heated their water with the sun. Then, World War II froze the use of copper, killing new production. And after the war, Florida Power and Light launched an aggressive campaign selling electric water heaters at a discount to increase electricity demand. Discoveries of cheap natural gas in California had already killed the solar water heater industry there in the 1920s, and the combination of utility lobbying, falling electricity prices, and copper restrictions finished the job nationwide by the 1950s. A technology that had been heating American homes for 50 years vanished in a single decade. Not because it stopped working, but because the utilities made the alternative artificially cheap. So why isn't it on your roof today? The answer is the same structural barrier that blocks every simple, durable technology that eliminates a recurring payment. The American water heating industry generates $27 billion annually, selling equipment with 10 to 15-year lifespans, and the gas and electric utilities that power those heaters collect revenue from every gallon of hot water you use. A thermosiphon that costs $75 to build and lasts longer than the house it sits on eliminates both revenue streams simultaneously. There is no federal tax credit for a home-built solar water heater, and the residential clean energy credit that expired at the end of 2025 applied only to certified commercially installed systems, not to a $75 assembly of copper pipe and polycarbonate. Most building codes require a licensed plumber to connect any system to the domestic water supply, and a permitted solar thermal installation can cost $2,000 to $5,000 in labor and inspection fees alone, even though the materials cost under $100. The Uniform Plumbing Code and the International Residential Code both assume active solar thermal systems with pumps, controllers, pressure relief valves, and expansion tanks, and a passive thermosiphon that runs on gravity alone does not fit the compliance framework. We are told that a $500 electric water heater with a 10-year warranty is the standard, and that a passive gravity-fed collector is outdated. But the electric heater costs $500 per year to operate and dies in a decade, while the thermosiphon costs nothing to operate and a unit installed in 1917 was still working 63 years later. The outdated solution is the one you have to keep paying for. Here is what you need to build one. Starting with a collector panel made from copper pipe or CPVC pipe, laid in a serpentine pattern across a 4 by 8 foot sheet of plywood, painted flat black. The pipe costs about $15 to $20 for a 20-foot length of half-inch copper, or about $8 for CPVC, which is rated for hot water and resists UV degradation. The plywood backing costs about $20, and the flat black high-temperature spray paint costs about $8. A sheet of clear polycarbonate, or an old glass door or window, serves as the glazing that traps heat inside the collector, and polycarbonate runs about $15 to $20 for a 4 by 8 foot sheet at a home improvement store. The storage tank can be a salvaged electric water heater tank with the heating elements removed, which you can often find for free on classified sites, or you can use a new 30-gallon tank for about $40. Closed-cell foam insulation for the tank and pipes costs about $10, and basic plumbing fittings, including hose clamps, unions, and Teflon tape, cost about $5 to $10. Total bill of materials sits between $60 and $90, depending on whether you salvage the tank or buy new, with the average build coming in under $75. The critical rule for a thermosiphon is that the bottom of the storage tank must be at least 12 inches above the top of the collector panel so that gravity can drive the circulation loop. The Build It Solar website, maintained by Gary Risa, publishes over 100 detailed build guides for thermosiphon solar water heaters, with full materials lists, dimensions, and performance data from real installations. 2 honest limitations you need to know before you start building. First, a thermosiphon system is vulnerable to freezing in climates where temperatures drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, because water sitting in the collector pipes at night will freeze, expand, and crack the pipes. So in cold climates, you either need to drain the system seasonally or use a closed loop with antifreeze and a heat exchanger, which adds complexity and cost. Second, a passive thermosiphon requires the storage tank to be mounted above the collector, which means either a roof-mounted tank or a collector mounted low on a south-facing wall. Because if the tank is below the collector, the hot water cannot rise and the system will not circulate. But the Department of Energy says water heating is 18 to 20% of the average American household's energy bill, and a thermosiphon that produces 60 to 80 gallons of free hot water per day in moderate climates eliminates $400 to $600 per year in operating costs, starting from the first week it is installed. The thermosiphon solar water heater is a 135-year-old technology that heated half of Miami in 1941 and heats 85% of Israel today. It has no moving parts, no operating cost, and no expiration date. And the utility industry made sure you never found out about it. A lot of what this channel covers sits outside the mainstream, not because it stopped working, but because the system was built to sell you the version that keeps the meter running. If discovering the lost science of energy independence matters to you, then subscribing and sharing is the simplest way to make sure this kind of knowledge keeps being found. If you had the choice between a $500 electric water heater that costs $500 a year to run and dies in 10 years, or a $75 thermosiphon that runs for free and outlasts the house, which one would you build? So drop your answer in the comments because I genuinely want to know. And if you want to see how a $5 battery cell built from sheet nickel, sheet iron, and a glass jar can store solar energy for 80 years without ever needing replacement, then take a look at this video right here.